I am
I
recording.
am recording.
Ba, ba, ba.
I am recording. Ba, ba, ba.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 632nd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I am here. Hello. So many of my Pokemon in Sleep were hungry this morning.
Oh, I had that too.
What?
Six Pokemon
6?
this
Oh,
morning.
I didn't
Yes.
have that. I had like 4.
6 out of how many?
8.
What?
Yep.
That's wild.
So that's my day.
Bobby also here.
Yeah, I had 2 hungry Pokemon this morning, so not nearly the same as Steve or Hannah here.
It's like the horoscope for the day. How many hungry Pokemon?
One of mine was also shiny. So
What? Wait, which one?
Ekans.
Nice.
I had a shiny Ekans too.
What is
Today.
happening?
Yeah, literally this morning.
Amazing.
Okay.
This is my like 4th shiny Ekans in the game or something like that.
I'm playing this
It's
game
a good
wrong.
one.
I haven't had a shiny in months.
Classic. We do have our classic returning Pokemon Sleep section of the podcast. I know people were dying to keep up with what's happening in Pokemon Sleep. Last week, if you listened to the episode, it was about an hour long because they only gave me an hour in the hidden secret room that they gave me last minute at the World Championship. So we didn't cover the new TCG stuff, but there's also other TCG news. So we're going to cover both of that. And then after our first break, I go more in depth with Pokemon UNITE of the new 500 point mode, which I think is like important to talk about because there's only been like a handful of people in the United States that have played this mode. And it's already hard enough to get into the public test server. It's even harder to get into the Chinese public test server, which technically that mode is on right now. So I recorded a segment already with Zoinks, who is one of the commentators for the official Pokemon UNITE tournament bracket thing, whatever you call that. Circuit? Tournament circuit. That's probably the word.
Sure, that sounds about right.
So if you want to know more about the UNITE thing and what I played and what is supposed to be coming in spring of 2025, that is a fun segment. And then after the break, there's a new Pokemon TV app coming. Pokemon TV, what was it actually called? Pokemon TV, I don't remember what the app was called. It died for a reason. There's a new TV app coming.
Is it the fast something?
The Fast is the new one.
It was just Pokemon TV, the old one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever, I don't know if I think that was internal. Was working on? Yeah. It was like internal to the Pokemon Company International.
Yeah.
Right.
It was good.
Does it
now
have
it's
a
dead.
name?
Yes, it's no longer around.
Oh.
And now we're getting a new one.
Pokemon
Kinda.
TV Max or something.
Okay. So that's our show for the day. Let's start off with Pokemon Sleep. Currently, while you're listening to this, Water Week should be over. And then there should be a week of nothingness like it has been. And then starting on September 2nd through September 16th, you'll have 2 weeks of Suicune. And am I misremembering? Wasn't Entei and Raikou, you had to be on green grass?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
this is saying week 1, you have to be on. Well, you don't have to be, but if you want Suicune,
If you want the event,
you need to go to green grass. Week 2, you can go to green grass, Cyan Beach, or Lapis Lakeside. So that is a new change, right?
mm-hmm.
yeah. So
You're learning and growing.
right. I mean, for Raikou, it sort of made sense that it was green because there's no electric like island, right? So it's kind of like, oh, just do it on green grass. Entei, I guess you could question like, why didn't they allow Topalo to be a part of that, because could you imagine the music of Topalo, how it already is, and then you add in the Entei? It would have been perfect. It would have been absolutely
curious
perfect.
if the music is going to be the same on all 3 of these islands.
Well, because the music of Greengrass just changes slightly. It's not like it's new music. It's like the music, but then it adds in.
It's a remix. I wouldn't say it changes slightly. It's a whole remix.
But it's the same, like, it's a remix of the music from Greengrass. So I don't think they would put that on Cyan and Lapis. I think they would have their own remix. That's what I'm going with.
Maybe the music guy is like, I really worked overtime this week. I had such inspiration. I busted out 3 songs. Can we do all 3?
I think it's happened. I think it's going to happen that way.
Someday they need an album.
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm surprised there's not like a YouTube channel that's just these songs on repeat. I tried to find one and I couldn't.
I think someone in the Slack sent me a link to a YouTube video a while ago that I think was all the songs that someone just put together into a video. So I think that does exist.
But they should be separate videos.
I need the YouTube video that's like 6-hour relaxing loop, Lapis Lakeside, lo-fi aesthetics. That's what I need.
I wake up to that too many times when I fall asleep with the TV on, and it's like something else on YouTube, and then it always ends up back at like I'm sitting in front of a giant room with a lake on the outside, and there's some lo-fi
one
music,
of those 8-hour videos.
Yeah,
thunderstorm happening.
And
in the background.
like, yeah, there's like exactly, there's a thunderstorm happening, and yeah. So now my YouTube algorithm is like, you love watching these videos.
You love 8-hour lo-fi.
They are testing a sleep timer for YouTube Premium members, I've seen. So maybe.
Oh, really? I need to. It's okay.
Okay, so for the event, each time a water helper Pokemon brings you ingredients, it will have during regular helping, it will have 1 extra ingredient. The chance of water type Pokemon helper main skill being triggered will be multiplied by 1.5. Snorlax in the event areas will default to Oran berries as one of its favorite berries. The other 2 will be chosen as random, which I don't know how that works on like Lapis, because Oran is not one of the ones. So is it saying 1 will for sure be Oranberry, and then the other 2 will be the random set of those original 3?
Oh, no, I think they're just gonna it sounds to me like they're just gonna randomize the other 2 berries.
Because I would love to have like the Grassberry on Lapis and the Waterberry on Lapis, because then Bulbasaur and Venusaur Venusaur and Blastoise can just like go to town with ingredients.
Wouldn't you still want your whole team to be water Pokemon though?
Yeah, but you can squeeze it. Venusaur can pretend to be. It's a frog. It can pretend to be a water Pokemon for a week.
Got it.
Don't think the game's gonna let that work.
A few Pokemon of different sleep types will appear regardless of what research you have. Certain Pokemon more likely to appear. Main level skills of all water type Pokemon will be boosted by 1. Which wasn't. Oh, well, sorry, I didn't read ahead. Week 2, the main skill of water type Pokemon will be boosted by 3.
Yeah.
And a big Snorlax will appear on week 2. So what was Snorlax starting at last time? Like Ultra 1?
4.
Ultra 4.
Was it 4?
It was Ultra 4, yeah.
Okay.
And then Snorlax starting rating varies depending on area. And then Drowsy Power will be multiplied by 1.5 on the second Sunday of the event. The Pokemon that are more likely to appear. Water type helping Pokemon. Oh, sorry. These are the Pokemon that will get the boost that I just talked about. Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, Psyduck, Golduck, Slowpoke, Slowbro, Vaporeon, Totodile, Crocodile, Feraligatr, Wooper, Quagsire, Slowking, Suicune, Quaxley, and Quaxwell. A reminder that Quaquaval is a fighting Pokemon, not a water. So if you have a Quaxwell, Keep it as a Quaxwell until this event is over.
That's exactly what I've done. I had that thing as a Quaxwell, and I was like, gonna evolve it into Quaquaval, and then I was like, oh wait, no, it turns to fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not. So I've had this Quaxwell for like a month and a half, just ready to evolve it. But I'm like, nope, I have to wait till Suicune weeks are over.
I've already
Nice.
seen a handful of people be like, I evolved it and forgot.
Yeah, no. I have like a level 35 Quaxwell right now that I'm like, I want to evolve you, but I need to wait.
All of them change their type.
Yeah.
It's not particularly useful.
No, it's not.
You will still get the main way. You still get the Suicune main per first sleep session per day. The number of Suicune main you get depends on the number of species of Pokemon and sleep styles. There will also be bundles. You can exchange your Suicune main for Suicune incense, Suicune biscuits, main skill seeds, water stone, and more. The Suicune biscuit is +6, which I don't know how that works with the Ultra Ball. Does one Suicune biscuit on Hungry leave 5 left over or 6 left over?
It leaves 6 because it would be it's at least 24.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you
would need 3 biscuits minimum.
Yeah, you'd still need Ultra Ball and then Pokeball.
Or 2.
I wouldn't say minimum. Yeah. If you get a critical hit on the Ultra biscuit, then you're good. But
true. Yeah. Well, what's cheaper? Well, you can't buy Ultra. You have to buy Ultra with diamonds, though. You can't buy Ultra with sleep points. So.
And you can only buy like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot of diamonds.
You can just get more Suicune biscuits. That's the.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
If you're new, this is my soapbox. I do not think you should waste a Master Ball on Suicune. We did this experiment on this show. Bobby literally started playing like the day before Entei showed up. Was it Entei or was it Raikou? Raikou.
Yeah.
And was able to get 2 Raikou with like never playing this game before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You will have no problem. Really, you'll have no problem getting at least one Suicune if you are just playing it daily. It will happen. And you want to get friends, though. You do want to get friends to try to get that Suicune main. Although I will say, when Raikou came out and I was new, I added like 25 people. I was like, sweet. Hopefully they'll get like a bunch of Raikou main from this. I got none. In the 2 weeks that Raikou was available, I got none. But as I leveled up when Entei came about, and I got more Entei main from friends. But yeah, Raikou has 0 main from friends. That was really sad.
Yeah, it looks very similar to past events, minus the option to change areas the week 2. So
I do like that they're actually telling us that the Snorlax will be big the second week, because I know it caught a lot of people off guard, because when Raikou event happened, there wasn't the boost. There wasn't the main skill boost second week. So but there was the Ultra 4 start. So when Entei came about and they had the main skill boost for week 2, everyone thought, oh, this is taking place of it being Ultra 4. And then when week 2 came around, it was a Ultra 4 Snorlax. And so this time it's like they're actually just saying it right out front. Like, you're going to get the boost, and also the Snorlax is going to be bigger. That doesn't mean it's going to be Ultra 4. They could change that too, but at least they're telling right up front, like, week 2, you're going to have a bigger Snorlax to start, which is nice.
I will admit, though, the surprise bigger Snorlax of the first event was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun surprise.
Yeah,
since that had never happened before.
That's true. I do like that they've already broken pattern with like within this set of legendaries, where, you know, with Suicune now you're able to go to Cyan or Lapis, and so they're already breaking away from setting into like, oh, everyone's going to think every one of these legendaries you have to be at green grass now, and it's already like breaking away from that, which is good because
Oh yeah.
People and patterns.
They have slightly changed it each time. I'm really curious to see if it stays this similar for the next legendary Pokemon, but we don't even know who that's going to be yet.
Yeah. That's true.
If they want to copy Niantic, it'll be Ho-Oh and Lugia.
And then it'll be Ho-Oh and Lugia 47 more times in the next 2 years.
Just before we move off of Sleep, just where did you guys end up going for Water Week?
I've been in Taupe.
Oh, you did go to Taupe.
I did. I mostly wanted Wooper, so it's worked out pretty well. I mean, I got a shiny Ekans today, so yes, I've been in.
Yeah, I also went to Taupe because I just also needed Wooper, and I wanted to see when they say on the when they say on the map of like this Pokemon can appear this way. When for Taupe, it was like only Wooper and Quagsire,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I wonder how often you would see them if it's Water Week and you can only get these 2 water Pokemon. And I would say it was worth it.
I think so. I saw Wooper almost every day. Maybe not 2 of the days. So at least 5 of the 7.
Yeah, I think I saw Wooper every day except one day. And today I got 3 Woopers and 2 Quagsires.
Jeez.
Nice.
Okay. Well, so I've caught 4 Wooper, and 1 was from Incense. So I'm on Cyan. I'm on Cyan Beach.
Okay.
I caught 4 Wooper. 1 was from Incense. The other 3 just showed up. And then there were a couple Quagsire that showed up as well throughout the week. So I guess I had about 1. Oh, I got 2 Wooper one day. So yeah, maybe like 3, 4 of the days this week, there's been a Wooper or a Quagsire showing up on Beach. So I mean, I didn't get any shiny Ekans or anything, but but no, I mean, it wasn't too bad to get Wooper still being on Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know what my water team will be. Like I think one of my Woopers is good. I have my Blastoise.
Mm-hmm.
I have my
Same.
Feraligatr.
Have a good Vaporeon?
Okay.
Yeah, I have multiple Vaporeons, but I don't know if I need more ingredients.
That's fair, but the double skill boost thing that they have implemented recently is really nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
I might.
Right. Friday's
I might
skills.
run a Vaporeon week 2 because I have 2 shiny Vaporeons from whatever event was it.
Look, Steve over here with 2 shiny Vaporeon.
And one of them is actually really good, but then you have to like put the skill seeds into it, which I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So getting like the free +3 boost.
Yeah.
Seems good.
See, I don't know if I made a wrong move there, but so I'm getting prepared to like go to Snowdrop, and so because I haven't been to Snowdrop yet, but I've had it unlocked for like months, and so I wanted to get a good Glaceon and then some other stuff, and so I had an Eevee with like the skill level up M or whatever, the one that makes it +2, and then I evolved that to Glaceon. So like it's like 17 extra items in your pot whenever it triggers.
Oh, right.
And it's skills based, right? So like the other day it triggered twice and it was all of a sudden like 34 extra ingredients in the pot. I was like, oh, this is great. I hadn't had to do any skill seed or anything, and like this is wonderful.
Oh, we didn't even talk about like a Wooper as a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it has mushrooms.
Lots of mushrooms.
It has mushrooms right away.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
which
wild.
Let me step back on the soapbox of the slow power creep that I've told people that this game has. So sorry to any people who have been looking for like a perfect Gengar, because like Wooper kind of just outperforms Gengar if your Gengar's main mission is just to get like mushrooms. Because Wooper can get mushrooms quicker than Gengar can at level 5 or level 1, whatever it is, and then can get mushrooms all the way. So it does it make your Gengar like completely useless? No, but it does give you another option to be like, okay, I don't need Gengar, I can actually use Wooper instead.
Yep.
At least
and-
for that one ingredient. Yeah.
So mushrooms is the last ingredient that I actually unlocked. So I had a shiny Ghastly that I was kind of working toward level 30 to get the mushroom unlocked, and then I actually just unlocked mushrooms like this week, and then of course Wooper comes out this week where it's like right at the beginning you get mushrooms. But
See, I hadn't actually unlocked mushrooms yet until I got a Wooper, so now I have that ingredient.
oh wow,
It's great.
You hadn't unlocked mushrooms yet?
No, I was lazy.
I see. Yeah, that's
Well,
so,
it's not like you had like I don't fault anyone for that. It's not like you had a lot of options to like unlock mushrooms.
Yeah.
that's true.
And like there are probably people listening that were like, I also didn't unlock mushrooms because I didn't get a good enough Ghastly,
Yeah,
and I didn't want to
exactly.
power up a Ghastly.
Right.
Didn't have a good enough Ghastly, didn't have a good enough Heracross.
Was that the other
Okay.
one that could do mushrooms?
And that's it?
I think so.
Oh wow. Yeah, then the Wooper, much
Yeah.
needed.
So again, my point has always been like, don't chase after the like A+S rank Pokemon, because there are more Pokemon that are coming to this game, and they will slowly start to make certain Pokemon not like obsolete, but like not your only option to like chase after.
Well, so we were talking about this in the Slack the other day, but the only two ingredients left that don't have a like right off the bat, like slot 1, is Leek and Slowpoke Tail. And so people were like, I was looking at, people were theorizing what Pokemon would have Leek first if they ever made it first, and then obviously the obvious answer there would be like Farfetch'd
Yeah.
would probably have Leek first, which would be exciting. But yeah, so that's it. There's only Leek and Slowpoke Tail left, and I mean they already have Slowpoke in the game. So, I mean, who would they give Slowpoke Tail first to, since Slowpoke's already in the game?
Is there a Pokemon that eats Slowpoke?
Well, there is
Shelter?
like Shelter. That
Yeah. There is Shelter.
there's Shelter.
It could be Shelter.
Yeah.
I think Slowpoke Tail is the best item, though.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
It's like 348 points or something. It's way higher than every other point like value for ingredient.
I'm still working on leveling up my Ditto that gets Slowpoke Tails, because that's the one I really want to work on.
Oh, Ditto gets Slowpoke Tail?
It can.
Oh, see, I went through and evolved, or did a Slowpoke, evolved it to Slowbro and got that up to 30.
And then never thought about it again because Slowbro is bad.
Pretty much, yeah. Although
slow.
I might use it during Water Week, maybe. We'll see. But or during Suicune Week. But
what I'm
we'll
hearing is that this next week between the events is when everybody needs to stock up on Slowpoke Tails if you can.
Good point.
Well, I don't even know what I have, like 5 easy travel tickets or whatever, and I don't even know what meal I want. Because of Blastoise, I feel like I want desserts because Blastoise gets so much milk.
You mean for Suicune Week or for like stacking up?
For Suicune Week.
Right.
But then I have like the triple mushroom Wooper, so that's like good for salads.
Yes, I mean this week I've got salads, and it's been wonderful having unlocked mushrooms and being able to make ninja salad is great.
So yeah, I don't know what I want.
Got a week to think about it.
No curry for you?
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Blastoise got milk, and Psyduck's got cacao. If you're using a Psyduck or a Golduck,
using no Golduck meta
during Suicune Week, even. All right, fine. We don't know what. Obviously, we don't know what Suicune has yet for its
ingredients wise. No,
we won't know that till they. When did we like? They usually find out from data mines like a week or a few days before, right? A couple days before.
The items, yeah. It's usually, I think there's like a maintenance update coming I don't have the news in front of me. I just closed it, but we'll find out when like the maintenance is complete,
Right?
And then you can at least see what ingredients it has. But the skills we wouldn't know. But if it's based on Raikou and Entei, they had like the same exact skills.
Yeah.
So safe to assume that Suicune has that.
Right.
The first one you catch.
The first like guaranteed one.
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we were talking about all the world's news. They showed the 2025 location, the 2026 location, the Unite stuff that we'll talk about in the next segment. We did talk about Pokemon Pocket, which launches October 30th. The thing we didn't talk about was they showed the trainer Pokemon coming back to the TCG in 2025, which is Pokemon TCG cards featuring trainer Pokemon like Lily's Clefairy EX, Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX, En's Zoroark EX, and then they showed an illustration rare featuring En's Reshiram. And then they don't say this in the press release, but they do flash the Team Rocket logo on the screen for a short second. So, Bobby, I think we knew this was coming, although I don't think we knew they were going to do a whole animated trailer to preview these cards.
It's a really good trailer.
Yeah, it was such a good trailer. That was amazing. But no, we did know there had been, I don't know, I forget what it was, trademark names or something like that had come out. So we knew there was a trainer set coming. We knew there was a rocket set coming at some point. And they would be following a couple other sets that are coming out before that. So most likely, I would guess, based on how they do the time frame of the sets, we know the set that's coming out in November, which I think we'll talk about here in a moment. But and then I would guess the trainer set will be something similar to like a January set, like Paldean Fates or like Shining. Those were like January sets. And then I would guess Rocket would be after that. So I would assume January-ish timeframe for the trainers, and then I would guess like March for the Rocket set.
Do you think that trainers is just going to be like one set? You don't think it's going to be?
They could I think the Rocket set could also have trainers. Like they could do something with like Rocket's Pokemon in there. So like that same like theme could carry over, right? But I think they'll at least start with just the first set being in January, and then maybe that theme carries over into the Rocket set as well in March.
I kind of got the impression that like the first set will be Lily, Marnie, and then the second set would be Goal or Ethan. Ethan, and because then they hint at like two more people like really last minute, one of them being Ethan and then the other one being, I don't remember, I'd have to look at the trailer again.
In the trailer they did? I don't remember that, but
it was like kind of like right after N appeared, or maybe I'm thinking of the Pokemon Masters. I don't think
I think Pokemon you're thinking Masters. Of Pokemon Masters. I'm pretty sure N was like, because they did the whole thing with N having like the Reshiram, the Zekrom, like all of that was kind of the end of the trailer, and then that like beautiful illustration rare of Reshiram. But I don't remember anything other than that, and then the rocket symbol, obviously.
Oh yeah, they do show they show Ethan, Misty, and what's his name? The guy with the dog, Mabostiff. Arvin.
The guy with the dog.
Yeah, so they show Misty Psyduck at one point, then they show Ethan coming out of the house, and then they show Arvin making a sandwich with Mabostiff.
Huh. Well,
so to me that seems like a second TCG set.
You think so? You think there'll only be 3 so I mean the last time they did this was in black and white, and right?
Yeah.
How many? Yes. Do you remember approximately like how many trainers they would have per trainer Pokemon they'd have per set? I feel like there'd be more than 3, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think there will be more characters, right? Like when you think of like popular trainers, N is up there. Hands down. N is up there. So N is like your chase card, right?
Mhm.
And then Lily and Marnie are incredibly popular characters.
Yep.
You know who's
Mhm.
more popular than both of those? Misty.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have Misty in another set.
I feel like they
because-
have to do a Rika card here too, right? There was
Oh.
that competition where everybody voted on the best character in Scarlet and Violet, and Rika won in a landslide.
Oh, yeah, Rika.
Yeah.
I was thinking Erica as well. Erica is also
very popular.
incredibly popular in Japan. No clue why. Because I feel like she's like normally popular here, but she's like just crazy popular in Japan. So yeah, you have Rika, you have Erica, you have Misty. Like I just don't think you fit all those trainers in the first set.
True. Yeah, I guess they probably wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want to do that anyway. They could spread it across multiple sets, but yeah, because you also have. I feel like they'd probably do. Although they have like the Charizard is like Terra. I was gonna say like Leon's Charizard or something maybe, but
Yeah.
and then I don't know, like Red's Pikachu. I feel like stuff like that would have to probably be in there as well. But I don't know. It's interesting because like they had the trainer gallery, and I know it wasn't specifically like so and so's Pokemon, but they had the trainer gallery in Sword and Shield, and so you kind of saw all of these, right? Like you saw like was it like Cynthia with Garchomp, or like with like
Yeah.
you know, Red with Pikachu and all of that. So are they just going to turn around and do the same thing, except now it's like their Pokemon, right? Like same combos, or you know, or are they going to change it up at all? And I guess we'll see. But
yeah, there would probably be like gameplay mechanics around it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like what you said before, like the Cynthia's Garchomp, which was just Garchomp,
right,
like didn't have any specific rules. It was had
just,
Cynthia on the card next to the Garchomp, but
right.
But yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, even if you don't like TCG, man, what a cool trailer.
Yeah, if you know these characters and like these characters at all, highly recommend.
Yeah, the trailer is super cool. Before we go to our break, there was a new TCG set announced. This is the next one coming out, it looks like, which is the Surging Sparks, which is going to be available November 8th. It will feature 8 Ace Spec cards, 9 Stellar Pokemon EX, 23 illustration rares, 11 special illustration rares and supporters, and 6 hyper rare gold etch cards.
Yeah, this is the Scarlet and Violet era's Vivid Voltage. It's like even the same like Surging Sparks, Vivid Voltage. It's like it's the same like theme with the with that alliteration there.
Mm-hmm.
And Pikachu is prominently featured on that Elite Trainer box, which so what they've done now with starting with the next set, which comes out September 13th, Stellar Crown, is they're going to have these like the Stellar Terra cards, and they're sort of bringing back rainbow rares in a way, because those Stellar Terra cards are rainbow. Like they're not rainbow in the same way, but they're like the borders are rainbow, and then if you pull like the special illustration rare ones, they're very rainbow like. And so I'm just thinking there's going to be a rainbow like Stellar Terra Pikachu in this set, and I'm sure that will be like the chase card for the collectors, at least for the set, will be this Pikachu, is my guess. But looks like a cool set. It's a combination of Japan's Paradise Dragona and Supercharged Breaker, which we haven't seen anything from Supercharged Breaker. Paradise Dragona features shockingly, dragon Pokemon.
It says here in the press release that in this expansion, players can collect and battle with cards themed around the Terrarium, an artificial paradise first introduced in the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero Part 2, the Indigo Disc, for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video games. Discover the towering Alolan Exeggutor EX in its stellar form alongside other powerful dragon Pokemon.
Yeah, there's some really nice Latios and Latios cards in Paradise Dragona, which will be making their way to this set as well, which is cool. But yeah, so a nice mixture of, I guess, pretty much dragon Pokemon and electric Pokemon, I think, are going to be just heavily featured in this set. And I think, what is this set like? It's probably like 280 cards or something, somewhere probably around there is usually what they are.
They do not have card count in the press release.
Really? They usually do. I'm sure it's a big set.
Yeah, I'm sure it's huge.
They all seem to be this time.
So are we getting one more Scarlet and Violet set after this, or you think we're going right into trainer cards?
No, I think this is it. I think we're getting Surging Sparks, because I'm trying to think of what else they would need to give us for Scarlet and Violet stuff.
Just like more stellar Pokemon?
Yeah, but they already gave us Terapagos, and they gave us Pecharunt in Shrouded Fable. So
we have not gotten a stellar Rayquaza yet. A black Rayquaza, some would say.
There is an entire box dedicated to Pokemon Horizons, though. The Grand Adventure Collection.
Oh, yeah,
being released as part of this.
Oh, yeah. I think that because it's like the card that there's a promo card that comes with it that's Terapagos and Friends, and I do wonder if there'll be like a full art version of that. But like toward the end of every set, they've had like a Friends in Galar, Friends in Hisui, Friends in right, like, and so I really do think this is kind of coming toward the end of Scarlet Violet, and then Trainers, Rocket, these are all going to be, not stalling, but like until getting like other filler sets up until Legends ZA comes out, I think, which based on, I had this theory a few weeks ago, but now it's looking like, maybe ZA doesn't come out in January, February, March, maybe April, May, or June. I'm starting to move it forward. I'm starting to move it back, like Steve was saying, because now the TCG, it depends on how many more of these sets are they going to put in the middle of it to get to Legends ZA. Who knows? Yeah,
I'm still kind of holding out hope for an early year release, but we'll see.
April could still be. They could still do it in April.
But the last Legends game was practically a birthday present for me. It was great. I was really looking forward to that happening again.
Yeah, same.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Unite. And then after that, we have some more news. So we will be right back. And we're back from our break with Zoinks. Amazing and always future, maybe future, I don't know. Commentator for the Unite. I would be very sad if you weren't a commentator one day.
Oh, yeah, me too. Hey, if you're the one guaranteeing it, that's perfect, because if it works out, amazing. If it doesn't, I know who to get mad at. So this is perfect. I love
perfect. This. Right. We know sometimes Pokemon listens to these podcasts, so we're just saying, always future Zoinks, please.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, this feels great. It's good to be back. It's been a while. I'm super excited to be on Super Effective once again.
Yeah. If that wasn't like a joke or anything. If people don't know who you are one of the commentators for the Unite bracket.
No, and to be clear, it's not a joke. It's a demand. And Pokemon, well, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so last week I talked about how I was brought on to play the new Unite mode early, And I believe all the commentators got to play this mode early as well.
Well, we actually did not get to play it early. We were given like a packet that was clearly by some machine translated for us, that we were able to like parse through a lot of the information and things like that. But yes, the new game mode that you were playing has been played on the various China betas that have been out over the course of like the last 6 months or so in China. So I've been keeping a pretty close eye on those game modes and stuff. And what we saw on stage at Worlds, the game mode that you participated in was extremely close, if not the current beta that is ongoing in China at time of recording. So yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was pretty hush hush up until then. We were allowed to do was talk about how it was going to be a cool show match. But it was pretty exciting. I don't know. I was pretty excited to see all of you up there on stage with some Timmy chosen creators. I know that must have been exciting having a language barrier on stage, but I think it played off pretty cool.
They were Timmy creators specifically.
Yes.
Okay,
well,
that was
chosen creators and players. So a lot of them are like ex-pros from other mobile games. Like we had a couple of Honor Kings players up there. I think there was like, well, it's Arena of Valor's Honor of Kings. It's the weird thing with Timmy games, but yeah, they were all like ex-players or like large content creators in China. Yeah.
Got it. They were like the best part of our matches. They were they were so fun to play with. There was a language barrier, but like kind of understanding, just like they knew enough English to be like, okay, we know what we're doing together for 1 or 2 games that we played. All right, to back up a little bit, I know I talked about this a little bit last week, but Zoinks is here to fill in any gaps and to kind of explain it better because it has been out in China for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was given, I got DM'd like 2 weeks before Worlds and was like, do you want to play in this new Unite mode we have at Worlds? And I was like, yeah, cool. Sign me up. As if I can play Cramorant, I'm 100% in. That sounds awesome. And it was supposed to be like 5:00 on Friday, and like anything at Worlds, things got pushed first. Then it got moved to 4, and then it got pushed to 6. I think it actually did go up at 6. And they didn't tell us anything. They were just like, new mode in Unite, 5:00 or 6:00 on Friday. That was it. I didn't sign any NDAs. I wasn't prepped anything. I didn't really ask any questions. I was like, in my head, I thought it was like a new Halloween mode coming out for Unite, like what they do for seasonal stuff.
Okay, yeah, just like a seasonal quick mode or something like that.
Yeah, I totally, because there was no NDAs or anything. But I guess you don't have to sign an NDA if they literally don't tell you anything.
There you go. That's the trick.
So I didn't think anything of it, and then they made us jerseys, and
those are sick.
They were like, okay, report to the Unite stage. So I went to the side Unite stage.
Oh, yeah. Where, ironically, the tournament was still going on. That was a point of contention in the Unite stream and everything, because, like, we still had, like, tournament matches that were, like, mattered for teams that went to day 2, but we're like, well, we got to show the show match. So it was, like, this weird mix. But they still got to play on a stage, but it wasn't on a stream. But anyway, you found your way over to the right stage, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then
main stage.
they brought us back behind main stage, which I feel like we could do an hour of what is behind main stage. Like, just the production happening back there is on just another level.
It's crazy. Worlds especially, too, because, I mean, there's the 4 titles. So you have 4 production teams plus, like, engineer and then, like, overheads that are, like you know, all 4 games kind of thing. But then you also have, like, a Japanese production team as a part of it as well. So they're not on the main line. They often have their own stations kind of set up separately, but it's like you have 2 production companies working in tandem, all for the same production, often sharing feeds and sound and things like that. But it's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, which you got to witness. A lot of poor PAs running back and forth, sprinting, trying to find talent or players or a water bottle, whatever it is. Like it's a lot of chaos, but As long as it looks good on stage, that's all we're trying to make happen.
Yeah, it was that in itself was just like really cool just to be behind stage and see everything, like all the moving parts happen. Because as a like Twitch streamer, it's just me, it's just a camera, it's OBS and me hitting buttons, and here it was like 4 monitors per station, 20 stations at least, and then all of these buttons and the most amount of Ethernet cords I've ever seen at a Pokemon event ever.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, it's like for my full-time job, I have to work with like a lot of like running cable and like terminating Ethernet cords and stuff. And I was just like, oh, the nightmare it must be to set up this equipment is so terrifying. And even worse, the takedown. But yeah, it was great. You mentioned the jerseys a little bit earlier, Steve. I'm super curious what you thought of them, because the Unite jerseys, so every team gets those jerseys as well. However, you know how yours had like the purple and orange kind of color on the floors across? So every region has its own color given by Unite. So America's is like a dark blue, or like North America is. Europe is like a red. I think Brazil's it's really cool pink color. And you know, all like I forget, like 16 regions or whatever it is, have their own unique color. But like, I thought the designs popped off like crazy this year. I thought it was so good. I
didn't know that regions had their own colors at all. That's so cool.
Yeah. They and then the design, of course, like kind of local to Hawaii, I thought was really sweet. And the cool thing about the jersey this year, which none of us knew, they're not for sale in the Pokemon Center, which is I would love that. Like, I think it'd be so cool. But they were you could win them on the prize wall. So the jersey that you had, you could get at the prize wall if you did like side events and everything at Worlds. It was pretty awesome. We had a bunch of Unite people like who were just doing Unite side events on cooldown just to try to get enough tickets to go over and get the jersey.
Cool. Gosh, I didn't know that at all. I think I looked at the prize wall once or twice that weekend, and that's like I've been to what, like 6 Worlds. I've been to probably like 10 NAICs or whatever they're called now. Or what they used to be called. Yeah, they're called NICs now. I think they were called. And I've only done one side event in like all of those events, just because I'm always busy doing other stuff. But it's cool. It's like, it is a cool thing to do if you're there, is to just participate in side events and then cash in your prizes.
Yeah. Unite has side events now. I think NAIC was the first one we started doing them. They call them the solo queue tournaments. So you sign up, you get randomly put onto a team of 5, and you just play 3 games, best of 1 kind of thing, like in a little Swiss format. And then they have those, and then they have like the same format, but like you can only choose starter Pokemon. So like the 10 available starter Pokemon we have in the game, those are your only options, like that kind of thing.
Got it. Yeah, so they rushed us back there, and then they got photos of all of us in our jerseys.
Cool.
Like the same exact photos that all the like professional Unite people have. I don't think they had time to use them. I don't think they ever went up on stream or anything, but they did.
Yeah.
They did end up sending those to us so we can use for whatever.
Awesome.
Which is like really, really cool. And they turned out so well. And whoever did the lighting, because I felt like the photo room was like kind of pitch black and really dark.
Except for the exact moment they take that picture, right?
And then it's like perfect lighting. It's like I want to hire that person to just come to my house and like fix my lighting here.
He's genuinely amazing photographer. I forget his first name now, but I know the photographer. He works with Pokemon a lot. Like he's been at NEIC and EUIC, but he does a lot of concerts as well. Like goes on tour with bands quite a bit as well for videography.
Yeah,
but.
So at that point, after the pictures were taken, that's when they revealed that we're playing a brand new mode, the 500-point mode, and we're going to be playing.
That's crazy that's when you learned that. Like, that is so funny to me, but okay, continue.
Literally,
I guess they didn't make you sign an NDA, so they had to wait until that last second.
They're like literally 15 minutes before we go on stage. They didn't even tell us initially in like the group chat that we were going on stage. That was also not told to us. So like the only thing we knew is we were getting jerseys as like a thank you gift, and that we were playing a new mode, like being on stage. Didn't know we were playing on mobile phones. Like that was didn't know it was a brand new mode. Everything was in Mandarin, I think.
Right. Mhm.
And before, the thing I didn't talk about last week, before we got into the actual game mode, which everyone saw on stage, there was like a almost like a Genshin Impact lobby, which we talked about a little bit before recording. That's apparently standard in the Chinese version of Unite.
Yeah, so it's like a little, well, yeah, and it's like an open world effect as well, right? Where like your character can kind of wander around. Is that, am I right on that?
Yeah.
So that is in the beta. There's like these little mini games you can play, these little archery range.
I played basketball.
Like, an arcade hoops kind of thing gets going on. The tough part is there was an announcement trailer. I don't know if you know this. There was like a little trailer right before you went on stage, or like right before your game started.
They were like, you're going on after this trailer plays.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So you see how these productions go sometimes. But it was the only thing that's been advertised or that has been promised to come to the global version of the game is the mode. Is the 500-point mode that is coming to the game. There is a bunch of stuff in the China version, like emblems work and function completely differently. Held items work and function completely differently in kind of a cool and not so cool way. I don't know. We could do an entire podcast episode on what the China version has and is. We can. But then, and then Pokemon have, like, every single Pokemon has kind of had like a mini rework for it to like function in this new mode. None of that, of the last three things I said, have been promised for our game. Only the 500-point mode has. However, we're starting to see some stuff, but I know you don't like to talk about leaks or anything on the show, so I will refrain from.
Yeah. I mean, like, when it's on like a public test server, I feel like that's it's there, right? Like it is like anyone could sign up for it. I don't know if you'd want to sign up for it or what the
the opinion I've gotten from, I have a lot of content creator friends who you're downloading it, you're VPNing into it to like not China. That's really hard to get into that one, I've heard. But like the public test server is based out of, I believe it's Thailand. It might be Malaysia. Yeah, but anyway, the games are so horrific because of ping anyways. You're just going into the practice mode to try the new character moves and get out. Like,
and like no games are actually getting finished because people are just there to test and back out.
If they don't get the new Pokemon, they're just getting out of the game anyways. So it's a nightmare over there. I see people ask for the public test server like in North America and stuff, and I'm like, maybe. I don't think it'll really do what we want it to do. But,
right. So we were presented. So we had the Timmy. Is that how you say? Is it time? It's Timmy. Is the
Timmy?
Wait.
Yep.
So Timmy is the developer,
correct,
of Unite. And so they brought over, I think there was 4 Chinese players, and they were like, they don't speak English that well, but here's a translator we have.
Nice.
And so it was a lot of just understanding like how to get into a game, any questions about specific buttons that would be getting into a game, and then making sure we could just pick our characters and like run through something like relatively like easy. We played like one game backstage and it seemed fine, right? Okay. And it was like, if you didn't know what, like there was 3 like boosts that popped up on the side. And they always said just like pick the one that was glowing because that would be the most beneficial to whatever your character was.
That's cool. I actually didn't know that happened. That's really sweet. I like it. So do you want me to add a little bit of context of like what that is, that system?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that system is personally my favorite. I think what's going to excite a lot of people about this new mode. It's awesome. So they're calling it AOS technology.
Yes, that's
we need
that
to
is
figure
what they
out a better word for it. We're determining what we're going to call it for shorthand because that is a mouthful. But like you get these basically upgrades throughout the match. Now you get them at different thresholds of your team's score. So you get 1 at 0. Everyone just starts with 1. And from what it seems like, it gives you a random selection of 3 options from a pool of about like 5 to 8, depending on the category. So like at 0, there's like 5 to 8 that it could be. And at 50, so on and so forth. But the scores, you get the upgrades at 0, like I mentioned, and then 50, 100, 200 and 350. So by the end of it, I believe you have 5 upgrades before the match will complete, if you've gotten to that 350 point mark. And they have a huge range that they can do. Oftentimes the early game ones are focused around experience in different ways. One of them is you literally just get boosted to level 4 immediately, which is crazy. To me, that one's awesome. But there's one that's like, for the rest of the game, when you knock out wild Pokemon, you get like a boosted experience, or like when you score, automatically get 1 level. But then that ability goes on cooldown for like 60 seconds or something. Okay. It's like, I don't know, they're really creative. And then they get like more bizarre and crazy and strong the later you go on. But it just incentivizes your team to get to these score thresholds to get these like upgrades and like power up throughout the match.
Yeah, so that was like hard to tell during any of the matches, like
or what they did,
or what they were doing, right? I picked. Okay, so before we get to the actual match, we're like jumping ahead, because there's just so much to talk about.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally cool. So the new mode is pretty much 500 points. Mm-hmm. And whoever gets 500 points wins the match, which the current mode, especially for those who don't play Unite or haven't played in a while, it's a 10-minute game no matter what, unless somebody forfeits, I guess. But whoever has the most points at the end of 10 minutes wins, and that score of who has the most points is hidden throughout the 10 minutes.
Yes.
So this is 500 points. The game is over, whether that's in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I can't see a match going 20 minutes, but maybe you could.
It'd be pretty bizarre. They had one China LAN tournament that I was able to like get VODs off. It took so long digging through Billy to get footage of this tournament, but eventually I found it. And I think the longest I ever saw a match go was like 13 or 14 minutes. Like it would be, with the nature of those late game upgrades, it would be pretty ridiculous for a match to go that long. I think like that sounds like, I don't see that ever happening.
Yeah.
Especially because I think your matches, did any of them hit 10 minutes?
They told us we had time for 3 games unless there was technical issues or a match went long, but we only ended up doing 2. So I'm not.
Oh, okay.
The first match might have gone longer. I came out for the second match.
Oh, okay. I know in one of them, you didn't even get to 8 minutes, because I remember Zapdos didn't even start spawning yet in the one match that was on stage. So
yeah, I think that might have been the second match, which was my match.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I think we did steamroll the other team pretty pretty easily. Like, I picked Crammer.
Cracked Cram.
But we were told backstage that the concept was 5 to 15 minutes for all games, just versus the 10. Mm-hmm. And I think somebody said like, is super similar to League of Legends, which I didn't know about League of Legends. Is that a point based?
Well, less point based, but like instead of scoring, you just do damage to towers, and then once you break like the home tower, or in Unite sense, once you score enough in the home base, then it destroys, and then you win the game. So a similar effect of that. You can try to break all the goal zones in one lane, so that you just have like a fast track all the way to the home base and score there, and score a bunch. But I don't know if that would really benefit you in this game mode. But yeah, more similar to League of Legends than Unite is currently. Absolutely.
But League of Legends games also last like 40 some minutes.
Yeah, and you start talking Dota, that's like the early side. So yeah, for sure.
There were new items or held items. Yeah. I think my held item on my Cramorant was like a heart or something. I don't know what it did since I can't read Mandarin, but I don't even think
battle item. Do you mean like the one that you
battle,
can activate?
Sorry, the battle item. Yes.
No, I
because
see what you're saying.
Eject button was built into everyone now at this point.
Yeah, the score button, right? Yeah. So that is one feature that I am not sure if it is going to make it over into the global mode. It could, I'm not too sure, but basically, yeah, this new one, everyone has access to eject button. It's like a targetable dash on your score button, which is interesting because now you can't do it on an enemy goal zone either. Like if you have, like, you won't be able to do it because it'll just become the score button.
Right.
But yeah.
That was like the hardest part. Wasn't like the changes or wasn't the language. It was just like the little things of
that are just a little bit changed.
Yeah, that are especially on like a touchscreen because I'm so used to a controller. Total side question because you've commentated all the high-end matches. Is eject button still the number one item and very dominant?
I would say so. I mean, yeah, we do see variety. I was actually talking with somebody about this. I think at Worlds the only ones we didn't see were like Fluffy. I keep wanting to call it our like nicknames for them, but Fluffy Hand and Goal Getter were like the only two I think we didn't see at all in the tournament. But like, yeah, eject button is the primary item that you'll see. It's just too good offensively and defensively, right? But there are some Pokemon that really like full heal. Like if you're a squishier dive Pokemon that wants to, be able to throw down for a little bit longer, Cramorant can make X attack work. Like that is a genuine option for Cramorant if you want to make it work. But eject's really nice on Cram as well because you can do it mid Unite move. It's really, really good. But we see a little bit of variety.
Yeah. So 500 point mode. I think another change was when you defeated Zapdos, it would then fly over to the home base.
Yeah. So at 8 minutes, points are no longer doubled in the after 8 minutes as well. That's like a big change from the current game that we have now to this new game mode. Instead, at 8 minutes, Zapdos does spawn in. When a team defeats Zapdos or last hits it, it will walk towards the closest goal zone. Like, so either top or bottom. If there are no goal zones remaining, just the home base, it'll just walk through the enemy central area towards it. Now, Zapdos works like it does in the catch 'em quick mode. I don't know if you've ever played that at all, but it doesn't score itself. It walks up to a goal zone. When it gets within range, it shoots the goal zone, and then continues to do so. And it doesn't score any points, but it just makes that goal zone an instant score for anybody who's standing on it. Rotom also spawn in this map, but not where they used to on old Remote Stadium. They now spawn in the top and bottom path where the Swablu Alterias do currently. They spawn in at 1 minute into the game, and then every minute afterwards. They also work like the quick modes do currently, where if you knock out a Rotom, it'll just walk towards an enemy goal zone and works just like Zapdos. It won't score any points itself, but it'll shoot the enemy goal zone and make it defenseless. The only difference is Rotom goes away once it shoots a goal zone. Zapdos stays there and persists its effect if the enemy team doesn't knock out Zapdos for the second time.
Oh, I see. And then I noticed the Reggies were spawning where like not where the core fish was, but a little bit more up.
No, I think and the top side, with the core fishes, but like where the Indeedis are on the bottom path now. Yeah. It's so on the bottom side, the bottom path is a Registeel on both sides now, and they're much smaller. So the Reggies are smaller, have less HP.
They're like Indeedee size.
They are. It's kind of adorable. And their buff rather only goes to the Pokemon that knocks it out. It's not team wide any longer. So if you knock out Registeel, only the person who knocked out Registeel gets that bonus.
Oh, okay. I had no clue because, again, I couldn't read any of the...
I know. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if that information would be... But yeah, then on top side, it's random if it's Regirock or Reg Ice. Only one will spawn in the middle. So that'll be the big, like, first rollout. We can test over that one if we're playing the top path against each other. That's what we're going to try to chase down. They're slightly changed. Regirock gives a defense buff and that's what it is. Regirock and Regice both now upgrade your maximum HP if you knock it out for the remainder of the game. But if you knock out Regirock, it gives you a passive defense buff, like while it's on a cooldown. If you knock out Reg Ice, it's a passive special defense buff, no longer healing. Kind of a little bit different.
Can you? I think there's obviously I saw people super excited that a new mode was coming. I saw people excited that it was like 500 points instead of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I saw people excited that like it doesn't seem so lopsided based on Zapdos being in the center.
Yeah.
And then I saw people on the opposite side being upset that they would have to like relearn the game.
Yeah.
My personal opinion playing two games was I didn't feel like I had to like relearn anything. It felt like Unite. But I think if there's a meta around this, that meta would be different of like Pokemon you pick and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So what I've been saying for a little bit around this mode, ever since we've kind of got first eyes on it with the beta, and then now we got to see you play it, and probably the iteration that's going to be closest to what we get in spring. I've been saying this for a while. I am a big fan of the changes. The change from how the Rayquaza or Zapdos fight used to work compared to the end game now, I think is so much better. It's not all dependent on one team fight. If you lose that team fight, they knock out Zapdos, it's okay. You have a chance to respawn, defend against the Zapdos, take them down, and get the next one. You know, like it's not over. You can kind of keep fighting, which is great. And what they did well is when you see that the game is over at 500 points, you like your mind instantly jumps to like the horrors that were score comp back in the day. Like it was pretty common, like in competitive play and even in ranked play, like where people would just ignore fights and just run and score as much as they could, try to end the game. But what they've done to alleviate that, and I think it was pretty smart, is they have flooded the map with objectives. Like, we just talked about how there's 3 different Reggies basically all the time, double the Rotom. We didn't even talk about the middle objectives of Regieleki or Regidrago. Like, there are just so many things to fight for that give you big advantages that, like, if a team is going to just try to ignore you and score, they are going to be playing at a bigger deficit than they ever have, which I think is pretty smart, and it keeps that, like, nature of what keeps Unite unique. Unite as a MOBA, more than any other game in this genre, is all about last hitting. Like, in League of Legends or Dota or something, the minions that walk down the path, your enemy can't hit them to get experience. Like, they can't hit their own to get experience, right? You contest over theirs and they contest over yours. But in Unite, every single wild Pokemon is contestable. So, like, you're always trying to get the last hit and deny your opponent experience and then in turn gain your own. So I like how they kind of kept that nature really well in this new mode, and I think it does still feel like Unite. The big criticism everybody's saying right now is that it's just really chaotic because the map is just so full and there's so much stuff, and that is true. But like
for me, it was chaotic because I couldn't read. But
well, yep, that is true. Sometimes you just got to hit your buttons and hope for the best. But is that so different than Unite now, Steve?
Right. I think there was also I haven't even watched my performance. I would love to go back and watch it, but
because I'll do a VOD review. You should do a VOD review on the Patreon of your own gameplay. That'd be great.
I should. But I kept I went dive /Cramorant, and then I kept misplaying or diving the wrong way just because I'm not used to the touchscreen.
Oh, mobile controls. Yeah.
So that was like, and plus like the nervousness of being streamed and on the main stage of everyone. Of like,
how did that feel to be on the big stage?
It was, that in itself was such a cool experience, just like with the headsets and the controls in front of you, and having people like walk back and forth, making sure everything is good. That like there's just like another perspective I have of just like being up there. And like,
I heard you guys talking about like the white noise and stuff on last episode. It's primarily there so players don't cheat. It would be a pretty absurd thing to happen, but like you don't see score in the current game mode, right? So people could be like yelling like you're ahead or you're behind, sure. At like big moments. And so the game is like, or that's the design of it. Like, you see it all the time in other games, like Call of Duty's a big one, like or like Valorant, like when someone is like disarming the bomb or something, like they don't want. That's why you have that noise in the headset. They don't want the crowd helping the players on stage. That's the main intent.
I was hard to explain to Bobby and Hannah how loud that white noise is.
Oh yeah, it's way more than normal noise canceling headphones. I heard them talking about that. It is way more than that. It is a genuine like buzzing sound. Some players will have like in-ear buds to like hear game and each other, and then they'll have like the headset over that will be giving that like buzz sound.
Yeah, it was a little jarring at first. Of like,
it takes some getting used to for sure.
Right. Of like I think like 2 or 3 minutes of the game, it felt like it normalized, but I was just I'm like trying to hear everyone talk, and then also like the game audio for like the audio cues.
And translate the Mandarin real quick. Of course. No, I heard the ugly calls were really helping you. That was
yes,
good.
Ugly, beautiful,
Yes.
very, very helpful. But yeah, though that makes more sense that I didn't have that context that they were like content creators that Timmy picked because they knew the mode insanely well. They knew exactly what to do. They knew what was good for the other. So we had, I think, 2 players from China on our team, and then the other team had 2 players from China, if I remember correctly. So they wanted to cancel out the Pokemon that they knew the other team was good at.
Awesome.
So they knew one of the players over there loved Buzzwole, so they were like, Buzzwole, ugly, ugly, ugly.
Oh yeah, get rid of it.
And then I think Greninja was the other one.
That one's been really popular in the beta too. Did you notice any of the like level reworks or anything? Like when you were, you're not playing an evolving Pokemon, you're playing Crams. You might not notice it, but like Eevees evolve at like 2. Wigglytuff evolves at like level 3 now. Like things are crazy different, which is again a detail I don't know if it will come over, because I'm like 99 to 100% confident the game you were playing was just the current Chinese beta. Like that was the game you were playing. I am like, again, the only thing they have promised us is the game mode, not the entirety of the game. As much as I would love it, there's an electrode volleyball mini game in there that I want to play so flippin' bad. Or there's like a Dust Devil Battle Royale game. There's a lot of cool stuff that I would really like. So I'm hoping.
The one thing I noticed, and maybe it was just I was playing on mobile, but the menu system felt smooth and fluid.
Yeah, you got to play on mobile, Steve. I can't. You got to abandon ship on the Switch version.
The second mobile will let me pair a Bluetooth controller to it.
Fair enough. There is. Well, what I got the impression, like watching the open world and stuff, and I'm really curious on how it felt to play. But I first thought was that's not working on the Switch. I saw them like moving around, it's like no shot does that work on the current version of this game on the Switch. But yeah, how did I'm just curious in general. Like I've been just spitting out information about the game, but like how did it feel? Like did you enjoy it? Did you not? Like what were you thinking?
Yeah, I wanted to play more. It really I don't know, like you see these competitive games like Overwatch, and then you see Overwatch 2 where they're like instead of 6 characters you have 5 characters, and this dramatically changes the game. And then you also hear that a lot of people don't like it and that it didn't feel like an upgrade. I could see people making that comparison to Unite, and I have not nearly as many hours in Unite as other people. I think I hit like 400 hours, which I think is a lot for any video game. 400 hours in a video game
100%
is a lot, but it did make me super excited if this mode is the future of Unite, because one, I do think it's more accessible. I think knowing that a game can just go 5 minutes if it was a complete like one-sided thing and it was like, okay, we completely got destroyed, that's fine. And also it makes me excited of like, there's been so many games where if we just had like 30 more seconds, or if we just had just another minute, we could have definitely won that or stood up. And I think 10 minutes is long to dedicate to a game, but I don't think anyone who's like, man, if I just like had 30 more seconds would be also upset of like, oh, that game took 11 minutes. It's like, no, I'm glad that game gave us another minute.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective, because I think you're right. There are so many moments in Unite that like, if you could just make one more play, if they didn't just rip something, then maybe we could have like turned it around. But now that's a little different. I don't know. It's super exciting for like my perspective on it. I mean, mine's a little more, I don't know, in a weird spot, because I'm a commentator, which obviously is not going to be the like popular way to look at it. But like as a commentator, and twofold, it's no secret that like the player base of Unite is not where it once was, right? Like with that huge spike around Mewtwo when it came out, and then it was giga broken and everyone hated it. And then things were pretty rough after that. So like we just need something big and new. Like I'm like all aboard getting on this new mode, because I think it's so interesting. As a commentator, these will be difficult matches to cast, just because the criticism of it being chaotic, whether it's a fair criticism, it is a true point. It is like there's so much stuff going on, lots of action. So our approach to the game will have to be different, but I don't know. I am very, very excited about it. It sounds so fun. I'm hoping we get like more, not less, of the changes in the Chinese beta mode of the game, because a lot of them are really exciting and really cool.
Do you know how the audience in China feels about this mode?
I am not sure. I've seen a little bit of discourse. The tough part is that's the only mode that they have at the time. They don't have our Thea Sky Ruins in the game. There is no mode that ends like that. It's just this version of the game. I think it's done pretty decently in streaming numbers. I mean, China's kind of all about Pokemon right now. You know, TCG launching there currently, and like, Unite seems to be doing quite well. So I think pretty positive. It's just like typical MOBA game discourse, like blank is broken. Like, when are they going to fix this Pokemon? Like, but that happens in literally every game of this genre. So
I totally get when they put us on stage. I totally got we're missing an important match for bracket. Totally understood that. Like, those complaints.
I think it's a worthy change at this point. Like, I mean, we gotta show it off. Like, it's exciting. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No. I just think like the watching of Unite, even if you don't play, I think it's really easy to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what makes, like, I always compare TCG to like watching golf.
Okay.
And especially with like my audience, like I'll switch between like TCG or VGC or Unite, and it's pretty easy for somebody to watch like VGC or Unite because they understand that this Pokemon has defeated this Pokemon, this water move hits this fire Pokemon, that's why that fire Pokemon dies. With TCG, it's like, I have no clue what's happening. I can't read the cards. And it goes by much, much slower.
It's got to be better though with that cool new layout they debuted though. I don't know. It looked sick. At least a little better. I thought the TCG layout was pretty sweet. They debuted at Worlds, but with Unite, it's so easy to watch. It's so easy to see those high energy moments compared to other games. So it's like, besides them adding your favorite Pokemon, which would probably push people over the edge to be like, okay, I'm going to try Unite because they finally added Grimmsnarl, and Grimmsnarl is my favorite Pokemon. I do feel like, year 3 of Unite? They kind of have to do something for sure
to get another audience to come in, because I don't think I mean, you'll see the comments of like, this mode is going to change everything. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I don't think the current mode is really enticing anyone new to join.
Oh my gosh, yeah, completely agree. I know the counterpoint to that, I guess, would be like, League hasn't changed its map like in forever, but they've updated their map. They have changed mechanics of it, but like, they still played on the same map forever, blah blah blah. It's just, we're in a mobile market. Like, that is a completely different beast that to fight within. Like, you are fighting for time and like a bajillion applications that everybody has on their phone, and it's a tough space to be in. And so I think new, bigger, better is really exciting. And yeah, I'm down. And we already broke the in case of emergency Mewtwo release, so we did it twice, so we need something big. I don't know. I don't know if there's too many people interested in competitive Unite that listen to the podcast, but if there are, it's releasing in spring, which will most likely be like kind of the midpoint of the competitive season next year. So I would be shocked if this is the competitive mode next year. I don't think that it will be implemented. I think in like 2026 season,
I
would
see what
be
you're
the
saying.
main competitive. Like, I don't think they would switch up the entire game at the midpoint of the season. If they did, it would be like, I don't know, it'd be crazy. It would definitely throw things out of whack, but knowing the changes they've done and everything, I don't think that would be the case. But the game mode will be coming to the game in spring regardless, and
yeah,
I'm sure
seems
there'll
like
be grassroots tournaments and stuff to play and enjoy it with. So
this seems very much like a Pokemon Day announcement of like, here's the date, here's 3 new Pokemon coming, here's whatever else to it.
Yeah. Whatever legendary we get for Pokemon Day, which won't be EX anymore. Very excited about that. But that's going to be the big change for competitive next year. All of a sudden, all the cool legendary Pokemon will finally be available.
Yeah. I guess 2 more questions before we wrap up. First one is, how did the other competitors feel, or sorry, how did the other commentators feel about this mode?
I think everybody's pretty positive on it. Like, I think we're all aligned of like, yeah, we just want, like, we're excited about new, like bring us like something to be pumped about, I guess. And that is what this mode is pulling off. Yeah, as commentators, it is a bit of uncharted territory, but it's excited territory. So yeah, I think pretty positive.
Got it. And last question is, compared to other worlds, how did you feel this championship series went?
Oh, that's a good question. I think extremely positive in a lot of ways. It's you and I are both from North America. We're back-to-back world champions, but no longer. Japan took the throne this year. It was actually kind of crazy. 7 out of 8 teams in top 8 were from Asia, and there was 1 team from LATAM South that was holding it down for the West in top 8, and then they made it to top 4. But the meta game was super exciting. I thought the meta was really, really good for this World Championships, made for great games. Like day 1 and day 2, I felt the games were just like, we had very few just nothing games. You know, they were all very exciting, felt like they could go either way. So that was great. So many regions really stepped up to the plate. So I think extremely positively in terms of the games and Unite. And honestly, we had so few tech issues. So from our side of things too, that felt pretty good. There was one. Can I tell a really I'll make a super quick story.
No, you can take all the time you want.
Wonder Chef tweeted about this, but I didn't know if anybody knew. In the game 3 of the grand finals, one team's up 2-0 also. So this could be the like world championship game of Unite in this series. The match starts and they have like a freak issue backstage where the observer and the first observer's game, their like rig, not even the game of Unite, but their whole rig crashes. Like during that game. So their first observer's down. So they're onto the backup observer. And the backup observer has like a Unite end issue where they're having crazy frame drops. Like the game is like almost looking like slideshow territory. And so we're in like, oh no, what's going to happen? And they look over and the Japanese observer, who is observing, by the way, just on a phone, holding it down with just their finger on the screen, moving the camera around. And that's the observer that's been working the B stage basically all day. But he was just like doing it, and they're like, we got that third cam, put him up. and they threw it on, and then the game was like fixed and the crowd went wild when the frame drop stopped. It was really funny. But he's going, and someone was like, should we tell him? And they're like, do not tell him. He is observing this game right now. Like, do not stress him out. And then after the game finished, like the whole production team like cheered and erupted, and our director went and hugged him, and he's like, what's happening? And they put on Google Translate like, you were the only observer, you saved the show. And he just started like weeping. Like, it was awesome. It was like the coolest production moment that like somehow happened. Plus like all the Japanese commentators and studio production, like they are such fans of those Japanese players. Like watching the commentators when Japan was winning the World Championships was awesome. Like they were just losing their minds. So it was great.
That's amazing to hear. Yeah, I did not get a chance to watch 98% of the Unite stuff just because I was doing my own thing there, but I plan to go back and see the matches because Unite's just fun to watch.
It's great. Yeah, it is really great. I got to do, I know you're a wrestling fan, I got to do my WWE thing for grand finals. We introduced the players one by one. I gave them all like a little one-liner, Kellosaurus and I did, and there was like fire as they like walked out individually onto the stage. It was great.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool. All right, we're going to finish this episode. Zoinks, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you if they want more Unite stuff?
At Zoinkscast if you want to follow me on Twitter. And then if you want to check out videos of tournament play or a podcast I run, youtube.com/UniteMics is going to be the spot to find that.
All right, and that'll all be in the show notes as well. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll be back from our break in a second. And we are back from our break. Unexpected news this week. This was August 21st off wildbrain.com, which is Wild Brain selected by the Pokemon Company International as the official partner to launch the beloved entertainment brand's only single IP fast channel. That's the most corporate headline I have ever read on this show.
Yup.
Wild Brain, a global leader in kids and family entertainment, has struck an agreement with the Pokemon Company to become the only distributor of the single IP Pokemon Fast, which stands for Free Ad-Supported Television Channel, starting in the United States, followed by Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. There you go, Australia and New Zealand. You're actually getting something this time. So free ad-supported television is what FAST stands for. FAST channels appear. FAST channels with a leading platform across the regions for 22 seasons of the iconic original animated series featuring Ash and his partner Pokemon Pikachu. Fans will be able to follow the duo's adventure across multiple story arcs. They have here in the notes like 112 times 22 for the beginning, gold and silver 157 times 22. 22 is like the minutes of the episode, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's
And then-
22. It's like showing 22 minutes.
But
each
like
of those.
157 episodes of gold and silver, each one being 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess that's how you do the apostrophe after the number for minutes. You do
For
it
minutes,
for feet
yeah.
as well, but it's not
Yeah.
obviously not.
So yeah,
feet.
you have the beginning, you have gold and silver, you have ruby and sapphire, which is 191 episodes, diamond and pearl 189 episodes, black and white 142, X and Y 140 episodes, sun and moon 145 episodes. Wild Brain will also be selling select direct advertising inventory for the Pokemon channels through its media solution team. And
Like-
then there's a bunch of like VPs being like, we love Pokemon and channel strategy and
ads.
and ads. We love ads.
So
Mhm.
they're saying between the lines.
Wild Brain has driven growth on its channels to 7.5 billion minutes watched in 2023, up from 502 million in 2019.
Oh.
Through its direct partnership with major platforms, including Samsung, LG, Roku, Tubi, and Pluto, and no one's using Pluto, and using the three biggest integrators, Whirl, Zumo, and Amigi. I don't know what those are. Wild Brain operates fast channels for more than 20 brands, including Teletubbies, Strawberry Shortcakes, Caillou, Inspector Gadget, Degrassi, Slugterra, Sonic, Super Mario, and more.
Okay. That's
So-
great.
So I get to turn on my Tubi. No one's using Tubi either.
People use
And
Tubi.
I get to go to, am I going to like the Wild Brain app? And then in the
Probably.
app, I'm then picking the Pokemon only channel, which will then
Mhm.
have Pokemon on it.
Yeah. I remember, so there was a time, I want to say it was like 7, 8 years ago, when Disney had all of the Pokemon seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They had them on their Disney XD app, and you could open that app, and then it was just like, here's all the Disney IP, right? And the other shows that they have that they somehow got access to. And there was like a Pokemon channel, essentially. You clicked on that, and then all of a sudden it was like, here's all the episodes, like seasons 1 through whatever it was at that time. I think it
I
went
think
up
it
to
was
like Sun and
5.
Moon. And then it also had movies too on the Disney XD app. They had they would switch them out, but they would have movies you could watch as well on there. I assume this will work similarly, right? You'll open up their app. There will be, here's Sonic, here's Super Mario, here's Pokemon. Click there, and then you just have access to all of those 22 seasons of the show.
With ads.
With ads.
with ads
With ads, yeah.
because ads scale.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I
what it
mean,
comes
I've
down-
never used this app service, whatever. So I don't
You're
know.
not
Like,
over here watching Caillou?
no, isn't it? Is that what how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Is it Caillou?
Yep, that's how that's pronounced.
No, I am not.
You're not
So
watching Degrassi?
not since I was a teenager, but I used to watch.
Degrassi is a real
Degrassi.
standout because like
It is,
Caillou
yeah.
and Teletubbies definitely like children programming.
Mhm.
Degrassi was like more like middle school.
Yeah, I was definitely big Degrassi, the Next Generation fan back in the day. But yeah, I don't know. Also, Inspector Gadget, they still making like new episodes of Inspector Gadget? Or
Yeah, I
I
think
wouldn't
so.
put
I think it's like
past 'em.
Sonic where they
nice.
just have like different variations or different reboots of it.
Loved that back in the day too. It's great.
Yeah.
Maybe I should jump in on this. I don't know how to like. Again, to your point though, like, is it a Wild Brain app? I mean, I'm looking on like the App Store, like just to see if there's a way, like, or if it's only on like
Smart
TVs.
TVs.
Yeah.
Because if it's only on smart TVs, I am even less happy with this decision.
Yeah. That
Well,
seems
the
weird.
Pokemon company has been very good at selling their licensing rights to channels and then eventually getting it back. Disney, a great example. Disney XD had it for X amount of years, and then they got it back, and then they sold it to somebody else, and then they get it back, and they sell it to somebody else. So, obviously, not the first company in the world that has done this. We saw like Seinfeld move from like Hulu to Netflix, and that was like one of the biggest licensing deals ever just to get that there. I'm assuming that the Pokemon Company got a big chunk of money from Wild Brain to hold on to these episodes for X amount of time. Who knows if this is a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, 3-year deal, with the agreement that after 3 years they get it back and they can sell it to somebody else. But then Wild Brain is hoping that it can make its money back through ads.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
When
I'm
this
sure they
was-
will be able to.
Probably.
It looks like they're not getting everything though that was sold to Netflix, right? Because like
I was
wasn't it
about to
Galar
say.
and Forward is all Netflix?
Yeah, I was about to say, when I first heard these announcements, I thought that it was going to have something to do with the fact that all of the Pokemon Journeys episodes are leaving Netflix soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. Like-
Mm,
September 7th.
that is very soon. How many episodes are there of Pokemon Journeys?
A lot. It's everything Ash did right before all of the Ash episodes stopped.
Oh.
Well, based on the
Okay.
episode list earlier, probably around 140.
Time to binge watch Pokemon Journeys. before
Yeah,
that leaves Netflix.
But we don't know where those are going to end up.
Right.
They're clearly not going to Wild Brain.
Yeah.
By the way, I looked it up, and there is a Wild Brain iPad app, but not an iPhone app.
I
So
mean, that's what you need, though. The kids have. Look, I went to a park for Mega Rayquaza, and the amount of young children running around with full-on iPads was mind-blowing to me.
well, I don't know. iPads don't they work for forever. So
You can definitely break them, though.
they can. You put them in a nice sturdy case, though, you're good to go. And they just seem to last a long time. I mean, so I get it. I get handing a kid an iPad over like a phone with cellular service and everything.
Well, okay, so Netflix right now has the Horizons, and I'm sure that's doing pretty well. They must like they went from Journeys to Horizons, so they must have been very happy with Journeys to then re-sign Horizons, and then they have Concierge, and apparently Concierge was good enough where they're making more Concierge.
Mhm.
Although, who knows when we're going to hear about that? Maybe Pokemon Day we'll hear about the second set of concierge episodes. The interesting thing is there was no trainer tour for Netflix. That was
Amazon Prime.
That was Prime Video /
Roku. Yeah, Roku TV has it for free.
Okay.
I don't know where I heard this from, but I heard this in passing at the World Championships that they tried to sell Trainer Bus. What was the
Trainer
tour? Trainer tour to Netflix, and Netflix said no, they didn't want it.
Which is wild because it gives off really, really big Queer Eye vibes. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was the main thing it reminded me of. Maybe I just don't watch enough reality TV, but
no,
seriously.
I was told at one point that it was like very Queer Eye like, but
Pokemon.
Yeah, didn't
Pokemon.
Someone said this when we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. Someone mentioned, like,
I think I might have cut that part out of the episode.
Okay. Yeah, I remember talking about that, like, similarities there between the two.
I'm glad Hannah felt this way watching. I have not watched it yet.
Same.
Yeah, I mean the intro sequences, the way the episodes are laid out, the entire purpose of the episodes is weirdly similar. It's
Popular,
I mean, you look at a structure of a TV show and you go, that clearly works.
Yeah.
Let's just restructure our show like that.
Yep. It's just instead of having the goal of helping someone's like sphere of life, including where they live and how they look and their relationships, it is instead people somehow doing little bits of all of that while also teaching them how to play Pokemon TCG. It's interesting. Yeah. It's good to have on in the background.
If that's what if what I heard was true, that they tried to sell Trainer Tour to Netflix and Netflix passed, I wonder why. Because I feel like
it
is
Netflix kind of a weird show.
They already have Queer Eye. They don't want it to compete with Trainer Tour.
I feel like Netflix is really good at just wanting new things and really good at not renewing what already exists, because usually new things are more likely to bring somebody in than like season 30 of Game of Thrones or whatever.
That is part of it. There's also the fact that after I think 3 seasons, a show gets more expensive. You have to pay the actors more. So I think that's a lot of what happens with Netflix.
Yeah, that's why they cancel so many of their shows.
Yeah.
But that's also, it also feels like if Netflix doesn't want your show, it almost feels like some sort of like rejection, like this is not good enough for us.
Especially when so many of the newer Pokemon things have been on Netflix.
Well, yeah, I will say, so I'm looking right now at what Pokemon things are on Netflix, and so they've got the Indigo League, they have Pokemon Horizons, and then they have Detective Pikachu. They have the Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, the one that was like the
exclusive to Netflix.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right.
Almost all of these are Netflix exclusives, including Journeys.
Detective Pikachu?
I said almost.
Oh, almost. Okay. They said all of. I said all of these.
Detective Pikachu was exclusive to HBO Max at first, but yes, now it's on Netflix.
Pokemon Concierge, Pokemon the Arceus Chronicles.
That was a Netflix exclusive. Yep.
Pokemon the movie Secrets of the Jungle. I think because Journeys
also
isn't on
exclusive
this
to
list.
Netflix. Yep.
But
literally everything is Netflix exclusive except for Detective Pikachu and Indigo League.
Yeah.
Well, and so my point to this is like all of this is animated. None of this is anything that's like Pokemon, but like real people. Trainer Tour is different in that way. So it's possible that they just didn't want, they have their formula for what they have for Pokemon stuff, and it is all animated. None of it is like
making a live
style.
action Pokemon show though.
What's up?
That's still happening though, right? They're still trying to make a live action Pokemon show. Netflix.
Is Netflix the one that's taking that?
Yep.
I believe Netflix is. I wonder if Netflix values things I think they do, but I don't know. I don't work for Netflix. I wonder if Netflix values things that are rewatchable. So my question to Hannah is, would you rewatch Train or Tour now that you've seen it?
No. I mean, maybe I would put it on in the background just to have someone talking while I was cleaning my place or something like that. But maybe if you're trying to actively learn how to play the TCG, you could rewatch it. But other than that, not really.
Because like kids, or even
I also don't think it's really a kids show. I mean, kind of. I don't really know who the audience is for this show, for the Trainer Tour. It's weird.
Maybe, yeah, that's
because
tough.
the people they focus on are of many ages. There are kids who are in the focus of episodes, and then there are adults who are the focus of episodes. There are people my age, there are people your age, there's a girl who was like first year high school wrestler, and I felt that because I was also a wrestler in high school, and that was really cool to see in a Pokemon show. But I don't know who the audience is.
Maybe that's why Netflix was like, who are we trying to market this towards?
Yeah.
I know the Strawberry 17, one of the hosts, Megan, her last name is very hard for me to pronounce, so I don't want to ruin it. I know Megan was at the World Championships, and she was on stage at one point. And she was really talking up Trainer Tour, which I'm sure she was brought there to, like, I believe her flight and hotel and everything was paid for. I don't know if she was primarily brought to Worlds to talk up Trainer Tour. I don't know if it was like you need to talk it up, or she just felt the need to talk it up because she worked on it and she was one of the hosts. But she sure did talk it up a lot. So I don't know if there was, I don't know if there's like, they want to do a season 2, or
I could definitely see them doing a season 2 if it got enough support.
Right.
It's a show that could grow.
If Amazon wants to pay for a season 2.
It's a weird show, but I mean, there are parts I really liked about it. I just didn't know who it was for. Didn't know. I don't know. It's a weird show. That's the main thing I have to say about it.
I kind of feel that way about Concierge, though. I think Concierge is kind of a weird show. Like, when we talk about, like, most Pokemon animated things are, like, geared towards kids, I think, one, there's a clear distinction between kids shows and, like, the other kids shows. Like, Caillou is not the same as, like, Power Rangers. Like, I would say Power Rangers was, like, for me as a 10-year-old, like, the show I wanted to watch. Like, Power Rangers, like, 10, 11, 12. But, like, as a 10-year-old, I'm not watching Caillou, or I'm not watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, or I'm not watching Teletubbies. So I do feel like when we throw around the term kid show, that's so general.
We should go with the way books do it and have kids books and young adult books, and have kids shows and young adult shows.
Yeah. So, like, I've always considered Pokemon, like, the show for, like, 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds or, like, 12-year-olds, where Teletubbies is, like, 6-year-olds.
Or
like
younger.
Or younger, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, you have a better idea of this.
Well, so of course, I mean, there are different, like, it's a lot easier when you think of, if you just are breaking it into 2 categories where you're thinking like a show for adults or a show for kids, right? Obviously, there's a lot of range there with children's TV, you know, because you have babies, you have toddlers, you have, you know, kids that are between, you know, 4 and 7, 8 years old. And, you know, I mean, like, there's a lot of difference there in that. And so, sure, you probably aren't going to have the same kids watching Teletubbies that are also watching Power Rangers, but you might. I mean, that's not to say that that's not, you know, it's hard. I really don't want to get into what, like, shows kids should be watching, because parents get very, very a certain way about this stuff. So I like to stay out of that.
But going back to Concierge, like I don't feel like Concierge is like a Teletubbies / Caillou show.
No, my kids did watch Concierge though.
Did your
and they
kids
actually
think it
really
was
liked
boring?
They thought it was more boring than my kids have also watched like Pokemon, right? Like that, just the regular show, like Indigo League, right? So they thought it was more boring than that, but they were interested in it.
Okay,
they
like
watched all
the
4 episodes.
Because I've like babysat like my nieces and nephews, and if you like put on a movie and they don't like it, it's very obvious. They will like get up and like just leave.
Yeah, that's the thing that's great about kids is that they're not going to sit through something they don't want to sit through.
Yeah, they will just like get up and leave. And so like I feel like Concierge would be that show for like younger kids to be like, this is kind of slow, this is kind of boring. I think Concierge,
it's not action-y, but I don't think it's necessarily slow.
I think it's paced a little slow
Comparatively.
Yeah, compared to like normal Pokemon, yes.
Yeah.
But like I don't think that's bad, but I could see that being a turnoff for some people to be like, this is a little slow. Even as an adult, I'm like, this is a little slow.
I don't know. My kids enjoyed it, but to your point, it was not as, I don't think they weren't as into it as Pokemon the anime, like the
I mean the relatability in Concierge is definitely more geared towards adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. And my kids would have zero interest in Trainer Tour.
You think?
Just because of the type of show it is, like, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like,
but you don't think the cards are a good enough like hook, as their father collects cards and then they see the cards in the TV show.
If anything, if the audience is for anyone, it would be maybe families who are trying to learn how to play TCG together. But also, I don't know if families watch reality shows together.
I watched Survivor with my parents.
Okay. I didn't grow up watching reality shows.
Yeah, I watched like the Survivors and the Amazing Race and the Big Brothers shows with my parents, but that was like more teenage years. I wasn't.
Yeah, that was like more teenage.
We weren't watching like Real World when I was 6, and my parents,
I don't think anyone should be watching Real World.
No, I don't know. I mean, my kids. We don't watch reality TV together as a family. Again, my kids are 7 and 4, so it's just not what we're watching together. But I don't know. I have to really go and watch Trainer Tour because I just really watched the trailer for it, and it just seems very much geared toward, in my opinion, it just feels like it's geared toward older kids and then into adults, more so than like young children. I think most reality TV, I don't know that there is really any reality TV that's geared toward young children. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't pay attention to very much reality TV.
I'd be interested in what reality TV that is. I'd like to watch that to see if there's actually reality TV geared toward young children. But
I was going to say like The Floor is Lava, but that's more game show than reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah.
Which makes me think, why is there not a Pokemon game show? That I could get behind.
There are occasionally episodes that kind of feel like it.
Yeah.
Some Scarlet and Violet news. Right now, it's until Sunday, September 1st. So when you're listening to this, you still have time. The 7-star Dragonite is appearing in the raid battles right now. It is normal Terra. I have raid builds up for that on YouTube if you need Pokemon suggestions. And then the Mass Outbreak event are Larvitar and Bagon. They will be appearing in both games. That was a frequent question of Violet and Scarlet users because they are version exclusive normally, but they will they do appear in both games. They're in mass outbreaks for Paldea, Gumi, and Hisuian Sliggoo in Kitakami. So first time Hisuian Sliggoo is catchable outside of Legends Arceus. Obviously, if you catch the Gumi and you try to evolve it, it will evolve into Gudra. If you catch the Sliggoo, Hisuian Sliggoo, and you evolve it, you will get the Hisuian Gudra. So if you don't own Legends Arceus and you're listening to the podcast, this podcast, one, that's kind of weird. But two,
It's weird.
If you're listening to a Pokemon podcast in a Pokemon drought right now, we haven't had a new game in a long time.
You can't always get every game. Not
Okay,
everyone can
hold
always
on.
get every
Let's
game.
rearrange this. If you're listening to a Pokemon podcast in a Pokemon drought and you would like a Pokemon game to play and you have the means to do so, I would suggest picking up Legends Arceus if you haven't played it yet, because it is a very fun game. And then you can also get Hisuian Sliggoo.
If you have Prime Video, you can watch Trainer Tour right now. And then in the terrarium, you can catch Beldum. These Pokemon do have the increased shiny chance. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but I posted the shiny graphic on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. And then these Pokemon also have increased chance of having the charismatic mark. So all of the Pokemon you catch in the mass outbreaks will have a 5% chance to have the charismatic mark. And that is also going until Sunday, September 1st.
I like this Pokemon. I like these Pokemon spawns. I think this is a really good combination of Pokemon. I will say I couldn't find any Hisuian Sliggoo the other day when I was looking in Kitakami, which is weird. I just saw a bunch of Gumi everywhere. But so Hisuian Sliggoo is spawning separately from Gumi, right? So
Yes.
you'll see an outbreak of just Hisuian Sliggoo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't look very hard, but
Probably just had a bad roll.
Yeah, probably. Because I was thinking I wanted to get through. I don't have a shiny Hisuian Sliggoo or Gudra yet, so I was looking forward to shiny hunting that.
Yeah, the Dragonite raid is kind of cool because it is, I think, the first one since Charizard that has 8 moves, which is a lot. A lot of we've seen 7-star raids with like 5 moves, or most of them have like 6 moves. 6 moves seems to be like the average, but it does a cool, like, thematically it's really cool because it sets Rain Dance even though it doesn't have any water type moves and it's not weak to fire. But the Rain Dance is cool because it lets it do 100% accuracy Hurricane and 100% accuracy Thunder. And when I say 100%, it's like not 100%. It's like it cannot miss. It's like a weird distinction in Pokemon where it's like Hurricane in the rain just cannot, even if you sand attack it like 30 times,
Mm-hmm.
it cannot miss when rain is up. So that's cool because it takes advantage of its special attack, but it only does that for like the first couple turns, and then it switches over to the physical moveset of like Extreme Speed and Earthquake. And so like whether or not somebody thinks, oh my gosh, this is the hardest raid ever, or oh my gosh, this is the easiest raid ever, which is really funny to me because every 7-star raid you see that where somebody's like, it's just so hard, and then somebody else is like, it's so easy, which is, I think, is like a good sign of like balance, I guess.
Sure.
So whether you think it's too hard or too easy, I think thematically it's like a really cool raid to do. But if you need help, you can jump over to my Twitch streams and just say like, hey, Steve, I listen to the podcast. I need help getting Dragonite. As long as I'm not like doing something terribly important, I can help you, or Twitch chat can help you.
Do they have to tell you to listen to the podcast? Is that what?
Yeah. That's the key word. That's the secret word is I listen to the podcast.
What are the drops for Dragonite raid? Like, what are people getting when they defeat Dragonite? Like Urban Mystica and stuff?
Still Urban Mystica, yeah.
Okay.
Still Urban Mystica can happen. Same stuff you always get otherwise, but
cool.
Yeah, if it's pretty straightforward. I think I think if you have the DLC, I think, and you're like, I'm not sure what to build, I think Archaladon, sorry, is probably the best you can build for it, because it works really good for both team play and if you just don't have anyone to play with. I think it works really well. Archaladon has a cool ability called Stamina. So every time you get hit, your defense goes up. And since Dragonite is a physical attacker, you just get bulkier and bulkier every time. And then Arch can set Reflect for the team, which also helps you. It can use Breaking Swipe, which helps you, but also helps the team. It helps you power up your Terrestrialization. It also lowers Dragonite's attack. And then you can Body Press, which is super effective damage. Archaladon has, I think, 130 base defense, whereas like a Pokemon that I've seen people using, which I don't super recommend, is like Corviknight. Corviknight has 105.
Oh,
it's not
poor Hannah.
Not as good. Corviknight is fine. It's just a lot slower than Zamazenta or Archaladon.
Usually not the best choice.
Yeah, I think Corviknight is better as like a Screecher, and then like Screecher Reflect. Pretty much like I think Corviknight helps Archaladon or Zamazenta just do the raid even faster, versus like Corviknight being like, I can Body Press too. Like, yeah, you're trying, little buddy. You can do it. Just not as good as the one standing next to you. You sure can, little bird.
Just need to go get yourself a staple remover Pokemon. That's all you need for these.
Yeah. Archaladon's a really cool Pokemon for this raid. Get yourself a boosted shiny Sliggoo or Beldum or Bagon or Larvitar. You probably have all those Pokemon if you play Pokemon Go, but maybe you don't have a shiny Ponyta or a shiny Galarian Ponyta.
Great segue.
That was a pretty good segue. Which is September's Community Day. This is off PokemonGoLive.com. We're excited to announce Ponyta, the Fire Horse Pokemon, and Galarian Ponyta, the Unique Horn Pokemon, will be featured for Community Day. The featured attack will be Wild Charge. You will get 2 times the candy for catching, 3 times the Stardust for catching, 50% less trade, all the other stuff, but the 2 main bonuses are the Stardust for catching. How do you two feel about Double Pony Day?
It's fine.
Raging reviews here.
No, it's good. Like I like Ponyta. I like Galarian Ponyta. They're great. When it comes to Community Day, I'm still one of the people who's like, oh, I want the shinies more than anything. I want to make sure I have, one of each. I have a few Galarian Ponyta shinies. I only have 1 Kanto Ponyta shiny, so I do need one so I can evolve one to Rapidash. But otherwise, this is cool. I do like the fact that they're featuring both, because back when they featured Galarian Zigzagoon for Community Day, they did not give us Hawaiian Zigzagoon.
Hoennian.
Hoennian.
That's
what
the
you
right
call it,
term.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
That is
Thank
correct.
You. Thank you. That is the correct
funny.
term.
We're just not used to it.
What would you say, Steve? What would you say instead?
No, that's the right one. I've looked them up.
I know it is. I'm asking Steve though.
I don't know what else. Sure.
Hoennian. All right. Anyways, so they didn't do the other Zigzagoon. They only did Galarian Zigzagoon during that Community Day, and that was a bummer as someone who does not have any shiny Hoennian Zigzagoon in Pokemon
I think I only
Go.
have 1.
So I'm glad that they're doing both. They have done this though before with like Sandshrew, right? Didn't they do a Sandshrew that was both Alolan and Cantonian?
Yep.
So
that was early 2022, I think.
Yeah, and that's it though, right? That's the only other time they've done where they have taken both regionals and made them into one Community Day.
I feel like there was one more.
I think there was one more, and I can't think of what it is
Yeah.
right now. They didn't do Vulpix yet, right?
Oh, they did Geodude. They
That
did
was
Alolan
it.
Geodude
Yep.
and Cantonian Geodude. Yeah. They
Yeah.
did not do Vulpix yet. No. But so yeah, I don't know. I'm into it. I
think-
horses.
Yes, exactly. I think I'm in a similar spot. I do have the full Cantonian Ponyta shinies set already. I don't have
Nice.
any Galarian shinies there. It's a semi-exciting. I mean, the bonus isn't super huge for me. The one thing that bugged me was they didn't animate the Ponyta right in the trailer, but that's fine. Horses are hard to animate.
I think they're consistent at messing up any animation around Ponyta.
That
No, you don't have to.
wouldn't surprise me.
They're consistent at messing up. Just right there.
Remember when they just forgot to put in its entire
The tail. Yep. And that's not even part of horses are hard to animate. That's just
Sorry.
just Ponyta.
When you talk about animating, it just brings me back to Sword and Shield when Zamazenta or Zacian turns around.
Oh, they just like hard turn.
He just turns them around like they're on a lazy
So
Susan thing.
bad.
Never gonna forget that. They really tried to improve on that in Scarlet and Violet, and then some of the scenes are just choppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hard cut that. You don't need to show the lazy Susan.
It's okay. It's a memorable time now.
Now that we've gotten like official confirmation that Galar is coming with the World's trailer, I also very confused how people are still like, what is this trailer implying? Like Ishihara literally says that something gigantic is coming. What do you mean?
Who's saying that? Who doesn't know that was a Dynamax Gigantamax trailer?
I don't know how like more painted this has to be for people to be like this.
You've got the red clouds. You've got saying gigantic. They had the Gigantamax Pokemon, Dynamax Pokemon in the yearly anniversary image this year.
Yeah. So clearly it's Z moves.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Gigantic Z moves are coming. Finally. So now that like we know Galar is coming, and this is a really also Galarian Ponyta being featured here. I wonder if they're going to do like more of this. One, Niantic loves their Gen 1, so there's still plenty of Gen 1 Pokemon they can do. 8 years into this game, we're still getting Gen 1 community days, which is crazy. But
yeah,
I could see, and I think it would be a really fun community day in my mind, maybe not. I could see them doing a Meowth community day, which is Meowth, Galarian Meowth, and Alolan Meowth.
That would be fun.
100%. I would love that.
Cats.
Yeah, I think that would be a super, super fun community day. And that, again, scratches Niantic's itch of Gen 1 focus community days. But
yeah,
if they were to do like a classic community day of Zigzagoon, it would be... I don't think that would be exciting unless they brought in Hawaiian Zigzagoon.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I think. Well, I guess they don't. They're not. It's not like Galarian Ponyta has a Gigantamax or anything, so it's not even related to that. They're just bringing in Galarian Pokemon for this time frame, I guess. But I imagine they would do like classic ones with like Ghastly, like we were saying before, the ones that like could have a Gigantamax at some point. So you get like Ghastly or Charmander.
And there are plenty of Kanto Pokemon that have that.
They already revealed Charizard. I mean, they have Charizard in like the teasers for
flying
the Gigantamax.
Over the clouds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which makes me wonder if that's the first one they're gonna do, or if they're just gonna release multiple at one time or something. But
yeah, I don't know how the Dynamax Gigantamax is going to work. I don't like any Pokemon can Dynamax. So there would have to be some sort of like currency or energy, like Mega Energy, Dynamax Energy, I guess. Well, I mean, there is Dynamax Energy. There is Dynamax Energy in Sword and Shield that you collect, and then you can give it to any Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could be one of those competitive people who forgot to give their Pokemon Dynamax energy, and then mid battle they're like, "This is the Pokemon I need to Dynamax," and then realize like, it doesn't have as much HP as it does because I didn't power it up. Not that I didn't do that a bunch of times. So I would assume there would be like some sort of thing that you collect to then make any of your current Pokemon Dynamax, but then I would assume that like Gigantamax would be just hidden behind a raid paywall like Mega Pokemon.
Oh, do you think it'll be, I think we talked a little bit about this before, but do you think it'll be only certain, so like you can have a Gengar that can Dynamax, but then like you could have a different Gengar that can Gigantamax?
Yes, 100%. I think they're going to do
you'll
that.
have to have that specific Gengar. It won't be any.
That's how they did it in Sword and Shield too. Remember that?
Exactly.
We talked about
That's how it was in the main series.
Oh yeah, no, I know that's why it wasn't in the main
series
until they gave the like Gigantamax
Max
Soup or whatever it was. Right?
So in 5 years, Niantic will introduce Max Soup.
Yeah,
and it'll cost $10.
I think for sure it will probably be like literally just like megas. Like what we were on like what, maybe 1 mega every month if we were lucky.
Yeah, but you can mega. So the one thing that would be a bit of a bummer is, let's go back to Gengar. I have shiny Gengar. I have a few different shiny Gengar, and it's like, oh, well, none of these shiny Gengar will be able to Gigantamax. I have to go get another shiny Gengar that can Gigantamax, versus like the megas. I can, mega evolve any of the ones I already have. I don't have to like go catch a new Rayquaza or a new Lucario to mega evolve it. So that would, be a little bit of a bummer, but
they don't have Max Soup. So it has to work that way.
I mean, I think it will work that way, and I think people will be upset, Bobby. I think somebody will be like, I want to Gigantamax my 100% IV lucky Gengar, and I can't because I have to catch a new one.
Yep.
But that's not exclusive to Niantic. That was literally what they did in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, it is. No, I know. I mean, I understand that. And so it does make sense. I can see them doing that. But, you could also move forward. Like, because it happened in Sword and Shield 5 years ago, Niantic, you could just get to the part where we have Max Soup now.
I could definitely see people getting frustrated specifically with Gengar for that, because Gengar is definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah.
But if they want you to do raids, which they said that these Pokemon will be in raids, and we don't even know how those raids even work, then I don't see it where you would. My guess would be you would be able to Dynamax your shiny 100% Gengar, but if you want to Gigantamax it, you're gonna have to get a new one. And Gengar is the perfect example, because Gigantamax shiny Gengar is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And shiny Dynamax Gengar is not even noticeable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm more curious of like when the starters come, like what other Pokemon are going to come with it, or like are they going to do a lot of Galar Pokemon, or are they going to drip feed Galar like they drip feeded
every other Pokemon recently,
where it was like
for the last 3 years.
Sinnoh forward, yeah.
Like, oh cool, we got Drampa in raids. Okay. Oh, we got Turtonator in raids. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. They will drip feed them. They have to. I mean, that's just how it is now. Like, I would be shocked if they were just like, here's half of Galar all at once.
It'd be so much fun though.
It would be. And it wouldn't really take away from anything, because we've talked about this before, but like drip feeding these Pokemon at this point in time, it like, just find a different way to get people. Like, Drampa coming into the game was not bringing back a bunch of players, right? Like, to your point, Turtonator becoming a raid Pokemon was not bringing back the people who were chasing down Snorlax in 2016. Like, so what is the difference at this point? Like, other things in the game are either can bring people back or are not bringing people back, but releasing one Pokemon every 6 weeks isn't doing it. So
I 100% agree with you that putting Turtonator in the game isn't bringing anyone back. I totally agree with you. There's one person listening being like, Turtonator was my favorite, and I installed Pokemon Go for the first time to get Turtonator.
Yeah.
That one person does exist. I'm confident of that.
That one person's not playing Pokemon Go anymore because they caught that Turtonator, transferred it to home, and were like, there's my Go. There's my Turtonator from Go. I'm done.
But I do think the drip feed is literally only for whales. I think it is... If you put too many Pokemon in, those whales cannot spend enough money fast enough. Whereas, like, if you just put Turtonator in raids, those whales are going to do as many Turtonators as they can to get the shiny, which is like, what, 1 in 60. And then by the time they do get the shiny, or they're all rated out for Turtonator, you now have Drampa, you now have Druddigon, you now have a Mega Pokemon.
But you don't have to put the shiny in when you put the Pokemon in. You could put half of Galar in, and then you can drip feed the shinies later. But, like, put the new Pokemon in the game, and then you don't have to put in the shinies now. You're still going to get those whales that want the shiny, that want the 1 in 60 chance. Put in Turtonator, not Turtonator. Put in, I can't think of what's a one-stage Pokemon. Put in Cramorant, right? Put in Cramorant, and Steve will do 1 million of them anyway. But put in Cramorant, and don't do this actually, Niantic. Don't put it in just in raids. But put Cramorant like in now, and then people will catch it, be done. But then shiny Cramorant comes around 6 months from now.
They already do this?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. But you could put
Cramorant
Cramorant in with 50 other Pokemon, and then 6 months from now, Cramorant can be shiny and in, raids or whatever. And those same people will come back and raid it 60 times to get the shiny one. They're going to get that later.
Yeah, they're still going to be able to do that. They just could also do that while still releasing a nice big batch of Galar Pokemon that would let people have a ton of fun and come back to the game for probably up to a month.
I think you get more people coming back to the game when you release 25 new Pokemon at one time than drip feeding 25 over 25 weeks. You're not going to get people coming back in that way, but you'll get people coming back to catch 25, 30 new Pokemon at one time that they can catch. Yep. And again, you don't need to release the shinies. They did this in Hoenn. Like, they released it in 3 batches, and there was 1 shiny each time they released a batch, right? So it was like there was 1 batch had Swablu was the shiny that was immediate. Aeron was the shiny that was immediate in 1 batch, and then I think 1 batch, like, it was when Alolan Raichu and Mawile were in raids. Or not Alolan Raichu, but Mawile was in raids, and that was the shiny Pokemon at that time. So, they released 40 Pokemon, and only 1 was immediately shiny. And then over time, they released the other shinies, and those whales are going to come back and be raiding those for those shinies. They're going to be going for those shinies at that point in time. But I don't know. I think you could release a batch of Pokemon and it'd be okay.
What it's sounding like to me is, do they want people to have more fun, or do they want to appease the whales more?
I mean, the whales keep the game free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing it either way, so I guess I can't complain. But
I 1,000,000% agree with you, Bobby. I think Niantic made the biggest mistake. I shouldn't put it all on Niantic because they have to go through the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company has to approve everything. Yeah. But I think the Pokemon Company and Niantic made a huge mistake with Gen 5. Like, I legitimately thought when Gen 5 came out, they should have pulled every Pokemon, and they should have treated Gen 5 like Gen 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have kind of soft rebooted the game at that point. Even if it was for 2 weeks of only Gen 5 Pokemon are in the game. It's going to be the same thing. Instead of everyone running across Central Park for a Snorlax, they're running across Central Park for a Druddigon. I don't know what
no one's running across Central Park for a Druddigon, Steve.
I don't know what the Snorlax equivalent in Gen 5 is.
Sylveon.
That's Gen 6.
That's Gen 6, isn't it? Yep.
Larvesta. Volcarona.
Volcarona. Maybe. All right.
But I thought that would have been so cool. That's like really the only generation that could have done it.
Yeah.
As well. And I guess like they could even still do that to this point, right? Like when Unova Fest gets announced or eventually comes, whether who knows how that's going to work, because like if they announce Unova Fest in February, because I think all of them have been around February.
Mm-hmm.
And by fest you mean tour?
Yes, Unova tour.
Unova bus.
The Unova bus. The Unova trainer bus is coming. Jump on. If they announce Unova tour in February and it's not in New York, which why would it be in New York? New York is freezing in February. That all seems just very weird. Like time and location wise. But also if they did announce a Unova tour, again, I think a good way to be like, we're pulling everything from the game, and for the next 2 weeks, just all Unova Pokemon everywhere. We're opening the floodgates. You'll be able to see your main foos and your Drudigans and your...
I feel like it might be a little late for that. People already have these Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, people already have Ponyta and Galarian Ponyta, but...
But like, could you imagine just opening your game and just seeing nothing but Basculin? How wonderful. How wonderful would that,
sounds
would
awesome.
that
be? That sounds like the perfect game. What do you mean?
Basculin Go.
Basculin everywhere. I would love to see a bunch of Galar Pokemon. I don't know if that's happening. I am curious though. Like, we don't know the numbers. I am curious if Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble, those are the Galar Pokemon, right?
Yes, they are.
If those alone would bring people back. Like, I know we as fans want to see like 50, 60 Pokemon. But if they're just like, Galar's here, aka here are the starters, and here's like Wooloo and Squavit, because I think that's exactly what they did with like Gen 6. Here's your 2 Route 1 Pokemon, and here are your starters. They did that with 6, and I think they did that with 7.
They did that with 8 already without the starters. They did Squavit and Wooloo.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Here's your starters, and here's your Squavit and your Wooloo. I do think that brings people back, not because of the Wooloo and the Squavit, but because people like starter Pokemon, and starter Pokemon have a lot of weight to them. But that doesn't mean I don't want to see like 50 Pokemon.
Yeah, I liked how they did Paldea with the starters, and was it the starters and Lechonk, and then they made Lechonk shiny right away. I thought that was pretty good. I could see them doing that again with with Galar and the starters, and then maybe make Wooloo shiny, or still think they should introduce Rookidee in some way.
I think Rookidee is going to be a community day.
Yeah, probably.
Makes me sad because I love that line, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't see them releasing a bunch at once. I do think they'll drip feed in some way. I do think they'll bring in the starters with, to your point, like a couple Route 1 Pokemon, even though, again, we already have Squavit and Wooloo in the game, but I think they bring them back and maybe make them shiny, make Squavit and Wooloo shiny.
We do have them in the game, right? But they're not like in the game. Like, you can't catch a Squavit or a Wooloo right now.
Currently, no, I don't think you can. I know Squavit is like one of the Pokemon that a lot of people want to trade for, because
really?
They do come back from time to time, but rarely. So yeah, Squavit was one of those weird ones that's like, this is sort of a rare Pokemon if you have it for trading purposes in Go. But I think currently you can't catch a Squavit or a Wooloo in the wild.
Yeah, and Double I think is very decent in GBL.
Yeah. I know I kept a few of each for that purpose, because it was like, oh, these actually aren't really spawning anymore.
Well,
so
there are definitely points this year where you have been able to get Wooloo.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
Squavit.
for sure. And
but
Squavit?
it was like during an event or something when you could. But yeah, I think they could definitely bring the starters in, and then the Route 1 Pokemon and make them shiny or something could be a way that they would maybe kick off bringing Galar back or mixed in with Dynamax in some way as well. But I do think we're going to see those starters sooner than later at this point.
Who's going to be the rare one? Scorbunny?
Oh, it has to be Scorbunny.
Yeah.
That's the popular one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. All right, we went way too long today, and there was also a bunch of like GBL changes that we didn't talk about. There's Masters just released their 5-year anniversary stuff that we didn't talk about. We'll get to all that next week because we just a super long episode. Which, darn you, Pokemon, for only giving me an hour in that room last week. We could have talked about so much more.
Nope. They had to kick you out.
Yeah, they had to kick me out.
It was too late.
I literally sat in that convention hall in the dark on the floor uploading the video.
Oh.
Because everyone was gone, and I was like, the internet here is so good, I can't leave. All right, well, we will be back next week. Thanks for making it to the end. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you made it to the end, think about leaving us a review. That's really helpful. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, comment your favorite Galar Pokemon. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, hit like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what people say for YouTube. But thanks for making it to the end. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bobby. We will be back next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super trying to watch the rest of Pokemon Journeys on Netflix before it goes who knows where, or maybe disappears. Don't know. Effective.
Yeah, I got to do that. I started binging that today.